professor at Chapman University is about to sue one of his students because they posted test materials online, saying that they're violating copyright by doing so. But it might be a little bit more complicated than it first seems. So let's dive into this true crime style. Back in January, Chapman University business professor David Berkovitz was scrolling through Course Hero. We'll define that. When he came across a call out for help on test questions that looked strikingly familiar. They were prompts he had written for a midterm and a final exam for his business law class during the previous school year. This is Course Hero, by the way. It's a place where you can get help, study materials, and stuff like that. Now, according to Berkowitz's attorney, he recognized his very unique fact patterns. He found what he believes to be evidence that one or more students were seeking and receiving help actually during the exams last spring. And so he is trying to sue the currently unknown anonymous student who posted the material to Course Hero. He says, though, he has no intention of gouging students for money. His real goal is to force Course Hero to reveal who posted the questions and find out whether they received help answering them last spring. Then he plans to pass the names on to Chapman's honor board for possible disciplinary action. The university, by the way, not involved in this. It's just a personal thing. So he says this is not about bankrupting them, but it is potentially about getting them in trouble if it turns out that they got help live during a test. I can't imagine how they were posting all that during the test, but Francesca, he thinks that might have been possible. Does he have a point?
Yeah, I think he has a point. My question is like, why go after the student specifically? I mean, students are gonna do this. I can't imagine. Like, it's been years since I've been a student, like at least 5. But I can't imagine the amount of accessible test material there is online, leaked stuff. It must be really difficult to be a professor nowadays. But I feel like maybe Course Hero should be the one cracking down, not like getting them to reveal all the IPs of the people that use your service. Feels like a lot of privacy invasion. And to what end? Also switch up your test, bro. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, his fear seems to be that like it was during it, but it could have also had consequences after the test. So again, if this seemed open and shut, which I still think it kind of is, don't sue your students. Here is another nuance. Maybe this will change your mind. Chapman's business school grades students on a curve. Anyone who cheated and may have received a higher grade possibly affected the curve for students who followed the honor code and received a lower score. That's what he says. He goes on to say, it's conceivable that one or more students who cheated could have knocked somebody else out of getting their scholarship and out of their eligibility to go to Chapman because they lowered their grade enough that they missed the grade point average cutoff. And by the way, in terms of how necessary these scholarships are, do you know how expensive Chapman is? After all aid, it averages out to like $41,350 for tuition fees and annual cost. With other costs like books, room and board, $78,273. And just seeing that number horrifies me. How could it be so expensive? That's not, I mean, I'm sure Chapman's great and all. That's not like Harvard or Stanford. More and more schools are getting up into what used to be considered an unattainable, impossible cost. And it's just becoming more normalized.
Yeah, and the BS really about the normalization is they believe that by charging more, that is indicative of their education standards. And I went to NYU, and let me tell you, that is not true. A private school charging through the nose for their tuition does not guarantee you better schooling at all. And it's just BS. It's all just some prestigious, Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to pull a Bill Maher here. It's Bull Maher.
Well,
from now on, it's Bull Maher.
Yeah, maybe it didn't work for you, but I went to UConn, and yes, University of Connecticut, it is expensive. You pay a premium, but you get nothing in return. It was a fun experience though, but no, it was not expensive. It was a state school. Had a good time though. Had nice cows and a dairy bar. Anyway,
what? A dairy bar? Would you like 1% or 2%? Yum.
It wasn't a milk bar. This isn't Clockwork Orange. They made ice cream, and it was a delight. Anyway, yum. We'll see what ends up happening with the lawsuit. That seems difficult. I hope that they don't allow it to go through.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.